Happy, was it Wednesday? Hump day? Hope you are doing great. I am here live. I think this is the first time I've done it in like 2 weeks. My schedule has just been crazy. And thankfully, I had an appointment at the plastic surgeon today, which I'll get to that momentarily. That opened up my afternoon, and Todd did the carpool duties today. So while we are waiting on friends, family, and my mama to join, don't forget that cooperkoch.com is my website. That is where you can check out what's going on, subscribe to get emails from me, all that kind of stuff. I don't do anything very often there, but at least you'll be in queue when it happens. Wherever you are on social, at the Cooper Koch is my handle in all of those places. Would love a follow, particularly on the Instagrams. By the way, pardon my hoarseness. I'm still a little hoarse from Black Tie dinner this weekend. Big crowd yelling and all that stuff. And wherever you watch or listen to this, be sure to follow along by clicking the bell, subscribe button, whatever they call it. It's on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and also rebroadcast in audio format, most episodes at least, on all the major podcasting platforms, including Spotify and Apple Music. So would love a follow wherever you are. So, hey, Mama, good to see you. Hope you are doing well. So while we are going, I today, for the first time, paid a visit to the plastic surgeon. And no, it's not what you think. And probably you're like, Cooper, but you have so much neurotoxin coursing through your forehead already. How have you never been to the plastic surgeon? Why just go to a person via at Tuxedo Club who does that for me right there? See, and I just got it recently, and it doesn't move very much still. But no, I actually went to the University of Texas Southwestern, UT Southwestern Medical Center, and in their plastic surgery division, they have a hand clinic. Because, I have this finger. That's as far as I can do it. And it's not broken. I have an actual diagnosis for it. It's exactly what I thought it was. It's Dupuytren's contracture. However you say that, Dupuytren's contracture. Also known as Viking finger, because it tends to affect white men of Northern European descent most predominantly. And so anyway, so I went there. I've had this appointment for probably a month or two. And it's been something, obviously, this doesn't sneak up on you overnight. And so I went there, and like I said, it's in the plastic surgery clinic at UT Southwestern, which, by the way, I don't think I have ever been to a nicer hospital in my entire life. This was like, and I've been to the Cooper Clinic, which is like super, super swanky. UT Southwestern is even next level. It's like nicer than the Cooper Clinic, at least the plastic surgery area, with a view. It's on the 5th floor. It looks over like the skyline. It's so beautiful. And fast. Okay, so I had to actually go twice today. This morning I had to go to get x-rays done of both of my hands. Hey, Sam Gear, how you doing? I had to go this morning to get x-rays of both of my hands. And I made the appointment first thing in the morning thinking, it's a hospital, it's a medical thing. I'm going to have to wait all day for all that stuff. And I wanted to space them out. I had a 2:00 appointment with the hand doctor. And so I made my appointment this morning at like 8:30. It was at 9:00 actually. And so they say to be there 15 minutes early. I got there, walked in. It's probably about 20 minutes early. And you check in on your phone. They have an app, and your phone immediately lights up saying, "We can tell you're here. Just go ahead and let us know you're here, and we'll get you in line." So I do that. I don't know if everyone does that, but walk in. They say they're like, "Okay, I'm Cooper. I'm here," and they're like, "Okay, come on back." Literally like that. I don't even think my butt was in a seat long enough to get it warm. And did the x-rays, like 4 x-rays, I think, on each hand. And then I was home before 9. I was actually home before my appointment time. Like, it was just crazy. And so then I go back at 2:00, and they say to be there 30 minutes early. Same procedure, basically. You park in the garage, your phone buzzes, let us know that you're here. You do it. You walk up in, you get on the 5th floor. They just run your credit card for $70 for the specialist copay. And then you go sit down, and you are in, because this is a plastic surgery center. I was basically sitting in this room. I don't know. Have any of y'all been to this place before? It probably will not be my last visit, and it probably won't only be for my hands. But you're sitting in this room, and it's not very full, but it's expansive. And first of all, I'm sitting in this room, and it's with a bunch of old ladies with really frozen faces and other people's noses. And I am the youngest person there. So I'm certain that they're all looking around being like, ooh, he's got the best work of the bunch. But yeah, it was comical in that sense. So wait there, maybe 5 minutes. Again, like no waiting. UT Southwestern, big fan, at least the plastic surgery division. Go see the doctor, and she comes in and she's like, I assume you've Googled what you think you have. And I said, I'd have. And I was like, I think it's this, I don't even know how to say it. Dupriens contracture. Again, that's how you spell it. And she's like, well, yes, that's exactly what you have. And she actually told me that I have a very aggressive form of it, and that because most people do not have it as like where your finger doesn't open at all. And I actually have it in multiple fingers. I have it in this finger, obviously. I have it in this finger, obviously. And then on my right hand, I have it in my index finger also. And then I'm starting to have a little bit of it somewhere else. I don't remember, but right there. But effectively what happens is that your body produces collagen. So Dr. Mark's going to laugh about me talking about this medical stuff, but basically in your hands, you have tendons, right? You have bones and tendons. And then there is a layer, a fascia is what they call it. And effectively, it's like a skid plate, like what you have on the bottom of your car, like if you're roller skating or whatever. And you have like hand things. It's a layer of this collagen and fibrous material that's meant to protect everything under it, because your hands obviously get a lot of stress, and it's right under the skin. Well, in certain people of Northern European descent, it's my Viking blood. Yes, Mom. And we now know I have extra Viking blood from the 23andMe, or from the Ancestry.com thing that says that my natural birth grandfather is actually from the Baltic region. But so you have this collagen that is, there's a genetic mutation that it produces like irregular or so. There was some word she used. Basically, it was like rebellious collagen or something like that. And I'm like, keep it in the hands. I don't want it in the face. But and it creates these cords. And basically what it does is it like throws a cord, and then it's just pulling your finger down. And so it's pulling from right there above that knuckle, or that, whatever that's called, knuckle joint, that joint. And it's pulling down. And so I have all of these, and it's really tight right here. It doesn't hurt. Like, I mean, it literally is as if it is part of it. So, but there are 2 treatment options for it. And, I forgot to tell you, so she said you have it much, so it's very aggressive. Most people are not as young as you when they have it. And I told her that my dad had it also. And I don't think his was as severe as this, but his also had no pain or anything. And I joked with her. I said, well, my dad died at 68. We do a lot of things earlier than you're supposed to. And she looked at me. She was like, you're twisted. Oh, Monica did not appreciate that joke when I told it to her earlier. She said, hopefully this is the last thing that you do aggressively, which hopefully it is the case. I do have a better diet and exercise regimen, and history of going to the doctor though. But the treatment for it is, so there's 2. The traditional way they treat it is they just put your hand out on the table, slice it open. I mean, they give you a nerve block on your arm, and then your arm is over a pillow, and then just right there in front of you, I don't know if you have to look at it, they cut your hand open. They scrape all the stuff out, sew you back up, do a skin graft if necessary, and send you on your way. That is not the most extreme way. Oh, and it mostly, because Mom, you just said I have it on my last 2 fingers of my right hand. It usually occurs on your ring finger and your pinky finger. That is the most common. She said it's not super common for it to be on index fingers, which is another reason why she was like, you have an aggressive form of it. But don't have it at all in this. But it's usually your two, and it starts traditionally on your non-dominant hand. And I'm guessing it's because your dominant hand you're doing so much with, it probably didn't have a chance to do it. But anyway, the prevailing treatment now, though, is this injection. It's only been out for like 10, 15 years or so, and it's got a funky name too. A Xylo something. Xiaflex is what it's called. It came out. By the way, these people are so witty. The information about it is facts on hand. Factsonhand.com if you want to know all about it. That just cracked me up. But the Xiaflex, I don't know how you say it. They do this super surface level injection. So they don't even numb your hand because they need to know if they're getting near nerves. It's a tiny little needle and they barely go in. And they do it because your tendons that are underneath it are also collagen. And they don't want it to hit that because it is an enzyme that they are injecting into your hand that effectively hits those cords. And it's like acid on those cords and it weakens them. And then, but so they don't want it getting past that because they don't want it getting to nerves. They don't want it getting to the tendons. So they have to be real careful on that. That part freaks me out a little bit. But and then they do that treatment. And then a week later, I have to come back and they bring in this hand specialist also. So there's a hand doctor, but then this hand movement specialist, like an occupational therapist. And then they do a series. So they numb my hand. They do a nerve block from my wrist down, which that's all right. How do you do a nerve block? Do they just hit a certain spot? I don't know how that works. But they do a nerve block so that your entire hand is numbed. And then they do a series of hand motions where they snap the cords. So basically where the cords, so like if you've got the cord here and it like burns it there, burns it there, burns it there, burns it there, then they can just like that, snap it. I was like, when she told me that, she's like, I'm not going to lie. You're not going to feel any pain when it's happening, but it's not going to be comfortable and you are going to be sore and there will be swelling and all of that afterwards. You may even have bruising afterwards. She said, and the bruising may travel up your arm, even though we're only doing it on your hand. And then here's the part where I'm like, oh, good Lord. Raven, you're saying my wife has Viking blood. It hits men a lot more prominently than women, like 9-1 or something crazy like that. So hopefully you're lucky. So after that treatment, after they snap all the cords, and they can do it, they can only do 2 joints at a time per FDA rules. And they can do each joint 3 times in your lifetime. So this will be the first of 3 potential times I have to do this in my lifetime. And there's no cure for the Dupriens. God, I have to actually look at the word every single time. Dupriens contracture, Dupriens disease. But the treatment options work really well. So after they do that and after they break it, I then have to have a paddle, like a splint. A splint, I think that's the right word, attached to my hand. And I have to have my hand in a flat position like that. This hand, though, on this paddle. And I have to wear this thing. I have to keep it elevated above my heart level for the first day or so, or until bedtime. And then I have to keep my hand wrapped in this thing 24/7 for a week. So I have an entire week where I have to wear this splint. And then after that, I go back, they check it out, and then I need to wear it at night for 6 months. So for 6 months, I'm going to be wearing this thing. Thank God I don't toss and turn in bed. And thank God I don't slap other people because I'm going to have this weapon in bed smacking Todd up. And then she wants to do that and see how the treatment works. And then if she has to do it again on the most severe parts, because you can see right there, I can't even wear my wedding ring anymore. It's swelled up so much. But then once that's all done, so after 6 months or so, we're going to do my right hand, just this one finger. And I'm like, how's that going to work? So for that week the week that I'm I think it's the week in between. And so the week in between, I have to just keep my hand wrapped. And then the week after that, I have, because you have to avoid stress. The week after that, I have to have it in a splint for 24/7. And I write with my right hand. That's like be typing. Hopefully, it's not a full hand thing. Hopefully, if you just have one finger, I can just get a single splint instead of the paddle like I have to have on this hand. Otherwise, I'm be typing like that. So anyway, so that was my first trip to the plastic surgeon. No eye lifts, no lid lifts, no face lifts, no tummy tucks, none of that. Just fixing my old man fingers. So, Mom has had it in her last two fingers, but it's not too bad. Janet's saying hi. Hey, Janet Wood. And Mark is not listening. He's taking a nap, but I'm actually giving a great description. Eric's dad had the same thing. Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. But when I told Claire about this, Claire got home and immediately was like, "So how'd it go? What's going on?" Because she's got anxiety about all this kind of stuff. But she was when I told her about like the snapping of the cords, she was like, "Oh, that sounds terrible." Yeah, Monica, it was making me think of this too. So my nephew Sterling, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, my nephew Sterling had where his tendons, he could only walk tippy-toed for like the first 10 years of his life or something because his tendons were not growing fast enough or something. There was some tendon tightening or shortening or something, and he had to walk tippy-toe. He had basically Barbie feet. And so to treat that, they had to shred his Achilles tendon. So basically make it so it could elongate and then heal back up. And he had to wear like a brace or a foot thing, like to keep his feet flat for many, 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 many days, weeks. I don't remember the exact thing, but yeah. So anyway, so that was my plastic surgery story for the day. So I am just full of medical things. I had that colonoscopy 2 weeks ago. Now I'm having Dupriens contracture treated, the cords, all that kind of stuff. What else? What else do we got going on? There is actually something else I do. Oh, I need to go. I have like a dry patch right here, and I don't. It's kind of irregular, and so I need to go in and have that looked at. I have a mole on my side. This is just all my stuff. And then I still don't have my results from my colonoscopy. I called the doctor yesterday, and they're like, they haven't come in yet. So, and here's the thing that on that. So Mom, I totally threw you under a bus, and it's a complete lie, but it's getting me hopefully ahead on this thing. So this doctor that I went to is so old school that he does not want to give you results just like over the phone or whatever. He, even if they're positive or negative or whatever the good one is of that. So he scheduled me for a follow-up appointment on November 30th, and that's when I'm supposed to learn about my results from my colonoscopy. And I called up yesterday. So I called up last week and asked if there was anything earlier. They said no. He's on vacation for like 2 weeks or so, and sometime in November. So it's compressing his schedule, which I get. But I called yesterday, and I'm like, hey, I'm just checking if there's anything else. My mother is driving me insane. This is what I said. I said, my mom is driving me insane about this. She's a nervous wreck. And I just think that Thanksgiving is going to be ruined if I do not know, either because I murder her or she's all worried sick that I don't have these results until afterwards. So Mom, I used you as cover. The truth of the matter is I'm not even seeing my mother at Thanksgiving, and she's not nervous to my knowledge about any of this. We don't have we have no history of cancers in my family really at all. Like skin cancer, but that's causation. But other than that, yeah, no. So I'm not nervous. Todd's more nervous than I am. He's like, did you get the results? The woman though, yesterday when I was talking to the nurse, I was like, can you just tell me, like, at least give me an idea? She was like, I just checked. They're not even in yet, but call back later. But anyway, I thought that was funny. Raven had that Achilles shredding done as a little kid. Oh, ugh. Yes. That just sounds painful. Achilles shredding. That's so barbaric sounding. It sounds like torture. Anyway, what else do I have to talk about? Black tie dinner was this weekend. It was a lot of fun. It ran very, 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 very long. Eric, I think you left before it was over even. And then the after party ran very, 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 very short because it was supposed to only go to midnight and it didn't even start until 11:15. And then it ended, and then I think someone threw a hissy fit and had it extended until like 1 o'clock. But I'm still a little hoarse because by a night of talking and it's so loud, you're talking loudly and just dancing and all that kind of stuff. But it was a good time. I looked wonderful in the pussy bow. Oddly enough, I barely took any photos, which is strange, but I was so distracted. And then last night, obviously yesterday was Halloween, which means I already put up some Christmas decorations last night after trick-or-treating just to see if the family would notice, and only Todd noticed about 2 hours later. I put a wreath on the Christmas door, on the inside of the Christmas, or on the kitchen, the Christmas door, on the kitchen door. I have one that is a ribbon that goes on either, because it's a glass door, so it goes on either side. So it's kind of mirror imaging, facing out though. And no one noticed for like two hours after trick-or-treating. But so last night, Claire is the only one who dressed up. We used to do family costumes, and it was wonderful. And then Grumpy Papa decided he didn't want to do that anymore a few years ago. Well, this year Mason didn't even walk with us. Todd did. And then a bunch of Claire's friends came over, like 4 girls from school came over. And we walked the neighborhood. I was a mummy, and I dressed up yesterday. I was the mummy all day yesterday. And it was like a onesie kind of outfit. Mad props, by the way, to women who wear rompers. I don't know how you do it, because this thing had a zipper that I could not unzip all by myself, and I could not zip up all by myself. So I had Todd zip me up in the morning. I went to work. As soon as I realized that I was going to need to go to the bathroom at work, I said, okay, I need to take care of something at home. Packed up, came home, had Todd unzip me. And then I just wore it for the rest of the afternoon or the rest of the day, half zipped, so my back hanging out of it, while I worked until we went hitchhiking, trick-or-treating. Why was I thinking hitchhiking? And yeah, but my thing also with the thing is I could get the zipper up like to like the middle, like between my shoulder blades, but then I don't have the flexibility anymore as a middle-aged man pushing 50 now to connect those two things. So Hannah is saying rompers are an Olympic event, especially when you have to pee. Oh, the first time I was not sure I was going to make it. After that, I was like, okay, this needs some proper planning. So I went as a mummy. Claire went as Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, but she went as Zombie Stitch. So she worked at school as regular Stitch. But then once she got home, she put on some grease makeup and blood and all kinds of stuff like that. So we did that, and we walked. And while we are away, so Mason is at home alone. Mason is like, did y'all just come home? And we're like, no. And we checked the camera. Because we never get trick-or-treaters out of some punk-ass kids. It's like 3 kids dressed up in one of those outfits that's like the stick figure, so that when it's dark, you only see the stick figure, kicked our fucking front door in. They came up to our door and just kicked the door, and it didn't break. Somehow it opened, but it flung open, and they all go, oh, shit, and they all took off running, right? I was like, and we saw it on the camera, and Mason is like, what's going on? And no one came in the house, so we had him go shut the door. Turns out it probably just wasn't latched all the way. We have a really old front door that's super finicky about if it's locked or not. I'm probably sharing more information than I should. If it's locked or not, it's blown open during storms, like when the air pressure changes a lot, that sort of thing. But we're like, what the fuck? And as we're trick-or-treating, we see a van go by. And we told Claire's friends about this. So we see a van go by full of these kids. And I don't know if it's the same ones. I'm not going to profile stick figures on this broadcast. But we see a group of stick figures. And Claire's friend Anise, she sees it and she goes, let me beat their asses. This is like a sixth grader. I need to beat their asses. No, she's a seventh grader, I think. But I laughed so hard. And then we're on the way home, and I was talking to one of the girls, Julia, I think is who I was talking to, who's dressed as Moana. And we're on our street. There's like a walking trail across the street from our house. Our house has no trick-or-treaters. No one puts candy out, nothing. So it literally is just walking back to the house. But so we're on the trail. And for some reason, Julia is standing a little bit behind the other girls. And I kind of hang back with her. And I say, hey, do you want to do that thing that's on social media where we just start running and see what happens? And she's like, oh my God, yes. So it was like, we go, run. And she and I start running. And Claire and Anise and Camila and who's the other one? There was one other one there with us. Just start screaming and running. And then Todd's like, what the fuck's going on? So Todd's the one who gets murdered in the story. But yeah, I did not know, because you see that like on TikTok or Instagram where it's just like you start running, or the one where you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, like that. I want to do that on Todd sometime, or the kids. But that actually worked with the running, where we just were like, run, and start running, and everyone just started screaming and running. It was so funny. Monica says, give us your address. Yes. Aaron is saying, my kids just started walking into people's houses instead of ringing doorbells. So that reminds me of like the weirdest thing. So we are on these streets. Most of the people have setups where they're sitting on their porch or at the end of their sidewalk if they don't want people coming in their yard and all that. And they have like a pail of candy and they're handing it out. It was so weird because most of the houses were doing that, but then there were some houses that had their lights on, but they had a door closed. And P.S. the World Series game was on last night too at the exact same time, and so you saw everyone's TVs on with people with their back turned to the windows. Long story short, though, is we were like, so do we go up to the houses that have the lights on and ring the doorbell? Like, is that still, when everyone was out on the street, do we still do it that way? And so we tried it a few times, and it was about 50-50. It was about half of them, you would ring the doorbell, and someone would come and give you candy, and about half of them, there was literally no one there, or they weren't answering the door. And then there was a house around the corner from us where, as we walked by, the lady opened the door, and she's like, hey, you can come trick or treat here too. So she just wasn't sitting outside. So that was just, anyway. Eric is like, you wouldn't trick me into running. Here's the thing I think that made Claire take notice. I don't run. So if you see me running, it means something bigger than me is chasing me. Or there's a sale on cashmere at Neiman Marcus, but that's it. By the way, this is from Banana Republic. First time I have worn this. I bought this in hopes that winter would come, and it finally did. Isn't this gorgeous? It's cashmere from Banana Republic. It costs a lot. I'm not gonna lie, but it's so soft and delicious, and I love a winter white. But anyway, back to your point. I think that's why Claire decided to run, because she was like, oh shit, if Daddy's running, something must be up. That's why I do yoga, Tawana is saying. Now I'm trying to remember what I said that would have sparked that comment. Y'all's comments come in about 20 seconds after. So this is live plus 20 seconds, FYI. So sometimes the comments don't align with what I just said, and I forget what I was saying. So, that's why I do yoga. I get it now. Looking at how you can be flexible and you can get your rumpers on and all that. Mystery solved, right there. So, the onesie, yes, I get it exactly. Alrighty, well, that's all I have got. Oh, God, how do I fill time? And I don't even realize it. So, yes, thank you. I got it. So, all right, well, let me make sure I didn't miss anyone in the comments. It was wonderful seeing y'all again today. It's been such a long time. I don't know what the schedule is going to be. I will try my best to put up a little bloop so that people know that, like, I can do a preview thing that I think will show on some of y'all's giving you a heads up. I might text you. I don't know. But anyway, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. Oh, Matthew Perry, by the way, dying. That was so sad. Like, what demons that man had. And like, we don't know. I mean, was this a Whitney Houston situation? Was this just a freak drowning? Like, what was going on? So anyway, on that note, I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I love that you watch this. Thank you so much. I do miss it very much when I can't do it. Not because I want y'all to see me, because this is like my therapy and I love seeing y'all too. So take care of yourself. Don't should yourself to death. No good comes from should. What else? Alrighty. Well, I'll see you the next time. I need to go start decorating. Love to you and your one. Thank you, Janet. That's so sweet. Bye, all. I'll see you next time on Cooped Up Live. Should I say? Talk to you later. Bye.